It is great to see you back in the second episode of the 10K 90-day course. So firstly, I would like to welcome you back. In today's module, we're going to be going over everything from the disciplines and perspective that you need to have in order to be successful going into this 10K 90-day challenge. Now, like I said in the last episode, this is not necessarily going to be a challenge, but more of something you're going to love doing so much that you're probably going to integrate this into your life from here on forward. So we can stop calling it a challenge now. Let's go ahead and just dive right into the content of today's module. We're going to talk about everything that you need to know in regards of your disciplines and perspectives in order to be as successful as possible in the digital landscape. Before we get started, I would like you guys to find one single piece of paper and one pen or pencil, depending on if you like to scribble shit out or if you're more of the eraser kind of guy. Go ahead and find yourself a pen, pencil, and paper, and let's get started. The very first question that I want you to ask yourself is, what experience do you actually have on the internet? Current experience operating on the internet. Are you a consumer? Are you currently a producer? Are you dabbling? What is your current era on the internet? Do you use it for school and research? Do you actually like the internet? Do you like using the internet? Do you still have social media? Do you prefer to text and call your friends over send them a DM? Where do you stand on the internet as of right now? How often do you actually use the internet as well? Do you have your screen time? If you do have your screen time, go ahead and write it down now, because your screen time is something that we're either going to be increasing or decreasing depending on what your use case is going to be within this course. But if you have your screen time or have the option to see that, I would write that down for these notes today, right now. And lastly, what do you use the internet for? Like I said, do you use it for school? Do you use it for social media? Do you use it for communication? Do you use it for making money? Do you use it for fun? What do you use the internet for? What do you use your cellular device for? There is a lot to think about when it comes to stepping into the digital landscape. But one thing that I want you to think about, because regardless of what we're going to do, to use the internet to make money and leverage making money, there are ways to do it, like I said, without producing content. There are ways to generate $10,000 without ever making a single video. But for a majority of you, especially since everybody wants to do the prim and pretty and they want to be seen being successful, a lot of people will want to go the route of being a creator. Or if obviously, whenever you ask kids nowadays, what do they want to be when they grow up? They say they want to be a YouTuber. Not too many people genuinely understand what the role of YouTubers and creators and actors is. Most people don't actually understand that these are professional jobs. These are entertainment jobs. These require teams, build outs, different things like that. So when it comes to being a content creator, when it comes to making $10,000 online, yes, there are some pretty remote jobs that you can do that your face does not need to be integrated into content. There are jobs that you can do, or there are businesses that you can run completely faceless off the internet. And we are going to talk about some of those different models in a couple of later modules. But for today, what I want you to think about is creating content. And if content creation is the sector that you're interested in, I would definitely pay attention. If content creation is not necessarily the route that you want to go, I would still pay attention, because the disciplines that I'm going to be talking about within this video, as well as some of the principles, are still going to apply to a faceless business, being that it will be digital. And we're not talking about brick and mortar businesses. We're talking about the digital landscape and generating and maintaining $10,000 a month. But like I said, let's talk about content creation for you. What does it look like for you? What kind of content are you going to be creating? How long does it take you to make this kind of content? What is the content about? What does your process look like? And these are all things that I would like you to write down. So if we could just do 5 quick little tips of what I want you to write down. What is your content going to be about? How long does it take you to make that content? Do you have a team, or do you work alone when creating content? Me personally, I had a team to manage my clients' content and editing and things of that such, but all of my content, these course videos, everything that goes on my Instagram, pictures, videos, I personally edit, post, manage, and respond to all of it myself. I have never trusted anybody enough to run my social medias, but I'm currently teaching my little brother everything that I know so that he can be a part of the SWD Media team and that he'll be able to do it because he's probably one of the only souls I'll ever trust enough to even touch my stuff. But do you have a team? What does that look like for you? Do you have fancy camera gear and lighting, or do you just have a quality phone and microphone that you can shoot point? Or are you going to make completely graphic content? Are you going to make graphic animations or 3D animations? What does creating content specifically look like for you? Now, when you compile these very few things together, because there's a lot of other details that actually go into content creation and how sustainable it is, I want to talk about how close are you to being able to create your first video or shoot your first video, and with all of the things that you just wrote down, how sustainable does that look for you? How sustainable does it look to be able to create content without a team, without gear, without these little things that do help but you don't necessarily need? How sustainable does creating content look for you, and how do you feel about what you have on the paper now? And I would just like you to make a little note right now. Do you think it's going to be sustainable with where you are now? And with what you want, does it sound like a sustainable thing for you? Specifically because in this video, we're going to be talking about all the perspectives and things that you're going to need to make this sustainable. If you are not currently in the proper position, or if you do need some sort of camera gear, or if you do need to have a better phone, or if you don't have the software, there are workarounds for this. There's ways to get different software. There's different ways to get free trials. I mean, when I first started editing videos, I was using Adobe software and Sony Vegas. I can't say how. And I was using them for free. There was plenty of cracked files back in the day. And this was back in 2012, 2014. And there are plenty of ways to do this with trials, setting your dates back, or whatever the case may be. Tons of ways to do it if you don't have the funds or access to these programs yet. Or if you just don't even know how they work, watching YouTube videos and getting understanding of what you need to do and how things should look, watching videos about presets, all these different things will come together. But the really big question for you is going to be, what do you need? What are you lacking? Does it cost a certain amount to get there? What does it take to get to making your first video? So now I've filled your head with all these specific details. You might be stressed out. You might be worried about what you're going to need to do, or what you're going to need to get, if you're going to need to get camera gear, if you're going to need to get software. Now that we have all these things rumbling around in your head and you have it on paper, this really gives us a good quality time to take a look at what you need to be doing and the things that you should be concerned about. I don't want to say worried, but you should be concerned about having the quality tools, assets, and things to make this as easy and seamless for yourself as possible. Because we all know that getting started and taking the very first step is always the hardest step in anything. This area specifically, especially when it comes to doing new things that you've never done before and your body has never done before, your brain has never done before, this is what Andrew Huberman refers to as limbic friction. Limbic friction being the hardest step, or the hardest thing to do to break over that initial hump to start doing something new. This is very difficult for most people to break, but prefacing everything that you need to do, having a list of things you need to have, being organized and being prepared will make this entire thing a million times easier for you, rather than if you just pick up a camera, pick up your phone, and start shooting. So we talked a little bit about what you need to have in order. We talked a little bit about what you're going to need to do. We talked a little bit about what things you're going to need to have in order to shoot content, edit content. I will say in the next episode, we're going to be talking about how to find content, research, pick your niche, and everything entailed in content creation. It's going to be a very exciting episode. These first couple are just to preface and prepare you mentally and really give you a broad perspective of what is to come in the next couple of episodes. But we've talked about those couple of things. Let's talk about people. Let's talk about the people that are currently around you, the people who are going to discover you through content, the people who are going to support you in content creation, and the people who are going to doubt your content creation. Most importantly, those cute little haters who are going to try and discourage you and basically are going to give you most of your views and reach because they're going to be talking about you the most and sharing your content and commenting and rewatching and trying to find something wrong with it. Those are going to be your favorite types of people, because once you have a couple of these, not only does it push your content a little bit further, but you absolutely know that you're doing something right When somebody else is feeling a little bit insecure about what they're doing, that generally means that you are doing something correct that they are lacking. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. When it comes to people, you're going to run into a lot of these. You're going to have different people in your life that are going to support you. You're going to have people that you run into that you're going to be creating content with. And then you're obviously going to have the haters, or whatever you want to call them. Most importantly, what I want you to focus on is the quality people that you currently do have in your life that are actually going to add to your life. Anybody who is not adding to your life should not be a part of your life. I'm sorry, but I shouldn't be the one that has to tell you this. But anybody that's not adding to your life, anybody that is not positive, anybody who is not catering to what you need, anybody who does not have your best interest in mind should not be a part of your life. This should be obvious, but it sadly is not the case. A lot of people may be a little bit lonely, maybe not have that many friends, or maybe they just don't notice the bad qualities in the people around them. But when it comes to this content creation journey, doing something that nobody else is doing, trying to make $10,000 online, trying to get 10,000 followers, trying to get 10,000 views, some of this is easy and some of it is not. But at the end of the day, all of this is just systematic and step by step. And if you can follow it, it is easy. Not saying that the hour is going to be easy, not saying that getting that initial $100 is going to be easy, but if you follow the systems properly and you're consistent and disciplined, it is literally impossible to fail. But there will be people in your life who say you will fail, who will say no matter how hard you try, you will fail, who will say that's never possible. Because it's never possible for them. They will fail. They could never do it. They can't see themselves doing it the way that you see yourself doing it. That is why focusing on you and your quality group of individuals is going to be the most important thing ever. Obviously, you can respond to the hateful comments, or you can leave them alone or filter them out and not even have them in your videos. For the longest, I didn't even allow these kind of comments on my videos. So back when I did gaming, I would always filter these comments out or filter keywords and things of that such. Once I got more into the fitness space and I was speaking a little bit more freely, I let everything out and I let every comment, I responded to every comment. All to say, this kind of content is going to be the best content for you. And I want you to really focus on cultivating a quality group of individuals who, like I said, have your best interests in mind. So we've talked about some external and internal things that you might or might not be able to control in preparation for your content creation journey. So let's talk about 9 disciplines that I would like you to understand before starting this so that you don't end up wasting your time. And these are things that I would consider to be the main pillars, not the structural pillars, but the 9 main things that you need to be aware of and know that are coming your way in order to be successful, that are going to be a part of your day-to-day life. You know yourself better than anybody else. So I would like to start with asking you 5 very simple questions. And with these simple questions, we're going to get a very good baseline understanding of where you currently are and where we need to go. So let's write this down. 5 questions for you. You're going to answer these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullet point. The first question that I have for you is, how badly do you want to do this on a scale of 1 to 10? How badly do you want to make 10K a month, whether it's views, followers, or dollars? How badly do you actually want to do this on a scale of 1 to 10? And if it is a 10, please let me know below. I would like you to drop a comment and say that this is an absolute 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10 you want to do this, because within this, I'm going to be picking 3 people from the comment section throughout this course that I want to work with one-on-one to help them grow their account to 10K as a live audience. We've already worked with over 500 plus individuals with growing their accounts to 10K, but I want to pick 3 new individuals, and of these 3 individuals, I want to pick 1 to intern for SWD Media so that we can show you guys absolutely everything that goes into content creation in full house media production. If it's a 10 out of 10, I want to know who you are and I want to know why. Have you ever done anything consistently for 90 days consecutively? That's question number 2. And this is a question that I asked at the mastermind that everybody seems to think is a little bit too long or is a little bit too hard. I don't think it is. 90 days of doing something consistently should not be difficult, but it is. And I want to know, have you done anything consistently for 90 days straight consecutively, back to back to back? Write it down, yes or no, have you done this before? Number 3, how do you usually react to a situation when things don't go your way or don't go as planned? Do you usually just give up, or do you usually find a workaround and re-engineer it to go your way, your work, or come out in the best light? Write down, how do you usually react to these kinds of situations? Number 4, have you ever posted or created content before? This is a pretty simple one. It's two-sided. Have you ever created content before, or have you ever posted content before? Just write down which one it is. And number 5, do you understand how money works? And this isn't to be a douche, but do you understand how it works? And if not, do you understand how the flow of attention works? Because the flow of money is nothing but the flow of attention. Whether it's a real estate, whether it's oil, whether it's an investor, it is their attention being delegated to money that is going to make them more money. So when it comes to making money, you need to understand the flow of attention, whether it's on the internet, whether it's the news, whether it's social media, you need to understand the flow of attention. So, do you understand how money and the flow of attention works? Yes or no? And if not, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm here to teach you, and I'm here to teach you everything that I and my network know about these different topics. So don't feel discouraged if all of these are no. This is just giving us a good baseline of what we really need to focus on and what we can help you with. So I'm not gonna lie, these might have been some tough questions, but I want to ask you tough questions, and I told you in the very first episode that this was not going to be an easy A. And in this course, we're not going to be asking all easy questions, but there were some yes or no's in there, and we will be giving you some pretty easy quizzes eventually, give you some bonus points, some bonus dopamine hits, but other than that, let's keep moving. Now, there are 9 disciplines that I would like to break down for you that would specifically play into your day-to-day life, as I mentioned earlier. We have the 5 questions to get a crystal clear understanding of where you are, and I wouldn't say that this is a complete understanding of your overall mental health, your overall mental capacity, and your knowledge. But these are the main 5 questions that I really wanted to know to be able to know where you are on this journey. And now I have 9 staple disciplines that I want to go over with you that are going to be a part of your day-to-day life. And these are things that I need you to understand, and these are going to be things that I'm going to need you to be very attentive to. So being that these are going to be the main staples that you need to follow and be understanding of when it comes to this journey, let's go ahead and jump into the very first discipline, which is going to be the discipline of consistency. I know that you guys, if you're in the fitness space or even trying to just get better in any way, shape, or form, and you have wellness and progression in your algorithms, you guys have heard consistency a million times over. And the reason for that is because consistency is the key to all success. It's the key to building wealth. It's the key to building a body. It's the key to fixing your health. It's the key to having good relationships with people. Consistency is just a human principle that's biologically a part of us that not only shrouds doubt and gets rid of second thoughts when it comes to relationships, people, and things of that such, but it's just the compound effect, and it's just one of the principles of life and how things work. Now, when it comes to consistency, this is going to compound on building money. This is going to compound on people knowing when you're going to post, like a TV show. Consistency is going to play in whenever the algorithm is going to definitely need you to be consistent. Everybody knows that the algorithm requires consistency. So I cannot stress enough that consistency is going to be extremely important. And you guys are going to hear me talk a lot about consistency because the algorithm is nothing but a numbers game. Numbers are consistent. They don't change. They're concise. They're exact. That's why computers read in ones and zeros. But consistency is going to be the name of the game, and that is why that is the first staple that we're actually going to be emphasizing within these 9 disciplines. Secondly, the discipline of overcoming self-doubt. When it comes to self-doubt, this is going to be a very big one, especially when trying to do something completely brand new. If you've never done this before, if you've never made content ever recorded, you're going to be doubtful there. You're going to get different hate comments. They're going to make you feel doubtful about yourself. You're going to post a piece of content that's going to underperform compared to another piece of content. You're going to doubt yourself. There's going to be a lot of self-doubt. There's going to be a lot of second guessing, and there's going to be a lot of not knowing on this journey. And the best part about it is getting to learn yourself and how you react and getting to know, getting to learn, figuring it out. So there is going to be a lot of self-doubt, and that is going to be the second main principle, is that you need to be able to overcome this, and you need to be able to walk with this. You need to be able to pick yourself up over and over and over again and not doubt yourself, but reinvent yourself. Becoming self-governed and sufficient. When it comes to creating content and when it comes to being a content creator or an entrepreneur in general, you have to be self-driven, you have to keep yourself accountable, and you have to be self-governed. You have to reallocate time to things that are important. You have to allocate time to things that are going to generate money. You have to allocate time to things that are going to be going towards your wellness and your mental health to make sure that you don't get burnt out on this journey. So when it does come to doing these different things, content creation or just working for yourself in general, you need to be self-governed and you need to also be sufficient when it comes to these things. Otherwise, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot, or even worse, put yourself back before square one and have to go back to your 9-to-5 that we are all trying to escape. So being self-sufficient and self-governed and being able to be principled and disciplined and letting yourself not do what you want and making yourself do what you need to is going to be extremely important to be as successful as possible on your new entrepreneurial journey. The fourth staple is doing what you do not want to do when you need to do it. There are going to be a lot of days and a lot of things that you're going to need to do that you're probably not necessarily going to want to do. In the beginning, all of this may seem very exciting for you, very promising, and you might want to do everything. But when it does come to creating content and doing things that you don't want to do in the current time, the only thing that you need to know is specifically that creating content is not something you're going to want to do all the time. You're not going to want to do the calls. You're not going to want to go out and shake hands. You're not going to want to go out and shoot the content on a rainy day, but it's going to fit the vibe and it's going to be something that you're going to need. You're not always going to want to do these things. So the best thing to get yourself mentally prepared for is prepare yourself to do things that you do not want to do when you know that you need to do it. If you know that you need to do something, rather than be stressed out that you didn't do it, rather than be thinking about it, rather than have it take up RAM and take up stress and take up energy on the back of your mind, you need to get used to doing the things that you don't want to do in the exact moment that you do not want to do it. That is the best way that you're going to plow through any amount of work that you have with ease and without that limbic friction that we discussed a little bit earlier. The fifth staple is going to be you're going to need to be ingenuitive as well as be able to be a self-thinker. When it comes to content creation, when it comes to being an entrepreneur in any way, shape, or form, this does require you to think outside of the box. It requires you to think in ways that people don't usually think. It requires you to think of things that are going to work for your specific business model, especially if you're doing something that most people or nobody else has done. You're going to have to be a first-time thinker. You're going to have to be a first-time adopter. You're going to have to adopt new strategies. You're going to have to adopt new protocols. You're going to have to instate new systems that people haven't used before. So when it comes to this journey, content creation, and especially if you're going to be a first-timer, you're going to need to be able to be ingenuitive, and you're going to need to be able to think outside of the box when it comes to incorporating new systems, new ways, new thoughts, and new processes to make sure that things work for you. The sixth staple, as mushy as it sounds, is you need to be believing in your dream more than anybody else. And what I mean by this is that your dream was given to you. What you see is for you. What you dream of is for you. The color of the car that you want is for you. There are many of the same cars in the world, but not everybody wants the same carbon fiber flares that you want. Not everybody wants the same rims that you want. Now everybody wants the same dream that you want. With that being said, nobody can dream the same dream and nobody can believe in the same things that you believe in to get there. So when it comes to believing in your dream, you need to believe it more than everybody else, more than the people that doubt you. You need to believe it more than the people who support you. You need to believe it more than the people who are bystanders. You need to believe your dream more than anybody else. One, for the internal confidence factor. If you believe it, everybody else is going to believe it. It's going to shine off of you, they believe it. Two, you cannot doubt your dream based off of something that somebody who doesn't even know or feel your dream, you can't base your dream or your intentions off that at all. And realistically, you just have to self-reliantly believe that this is going to work no matter what. There's absolutely no plan B. It is going to work. And I cannot stress enough how this will psychologically affect you, your progress, your actions, your subconscious actions. This is just going to play into everything. 7 is to be unrealistic with your goals. In the gym, I would always say, if we have a set of 10 or 12 coming up, I would say go for 15, get 12, but the rep that we needed to get was 10. Always do extra. We always say 5 more. We always say do 2 more. We always say do more than what you have in the tank, because at the end of the day, you always do have more than what you have in the tank. You always have more energy. You always have more reps, and you always have more effort than you think. Mentally, your body will always give up, but mentally, you always have more. So when it comes to doing this, you want to go all in. You want to go 120% on whatever it is that you're doing, more than what you think you have. Those extra steps will take you a lot farther than just the 1% every day. I want you to get 5 to 10% every day, because I know that you can put that in. Staple number 8, build on your character, build on your skills, and build your character to be the person that you want. If there's a certain set of skills that is required to do what you want to do, if there's a certain set of gear that you need, if there's a certain set of people that you need in your network to be able to do the things that you want to do, you need to get uncomfortable. You need to find these people. You need to find these skills. You need to learn these skills. You need to equip yourself with the tools that you're going to need to feel confident, that you're going to need to feel comfortable, that you're going to need to feel competent. When you're having a conversation with somebody who is above you, or when you're having a conversation with somebody who is going to be your business partner and you're going to be shaking hands with, it is probably a pretty good idea to be competent and skilled in the area that you were going for. On top of that, having a quality network of individuals will build your confidence, believe it or not. Being able to make a call, or being able to know that you have somebody for a job, or knowing that you can find somebody to do something that's going to generate both of you money, is a very comfortable feeling, rather than having to figure out everything yourself, go find somebody off Fiverr, go find somebody on Facebook Market, whatever it is. Build yourself, build your skills, build your network, build yourself into a position that is going to be more comfortable. And note that this is going to require getting uncomfortable meeting people, getting uncomfortable not knowing new information. This is going to require a lot of discomfort, but in the end, this is all to reach a comfortable spot where you are confident, competent, and you are equipped to handle whatever it is that you're chasing. And the 9th staple that I will say is going to be learn to make work fun. I've talked about this before. I've talked about this on podcasts. I've talked about this in videos before. You need to learn how to make work fun. Example, I used to do video editing and picture editing. The picture portion is always fun. You can throw on your favorite music. You can use some presets. You can fly through it. You can get nice with it. You're quick. But when it comes to video editing, it's a lot of backing up and back, chop, 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 a lot of quiet moments. It's very, very tedious and taxing on the mind. So when it comes to making workflows fun, something that I took from Andrew Huberman was the Arcadian rhythm of working in 1.5 90-minute to 120-minute blocks. So I work in 2-hour blocks because I just feel as though I can get a lot more done within that time. Different people have different Arcadian rhythms, but depending on you, make work fun for you. Make it like a 2-hour block in the morning, and then you can take a break and go to the gym, or you can go to the pool and do some laps, or you can go for a run or a kettlebell workout. And then you can do another 2-hour block. You can section your days up into be 2 hours at the desk, 2 hours outside, 2 hours of physical activity or cleaning up your apartment. But realistically, what we're looking to do is make things fun. And by fun, I mean productive, not sitting at a desk all day. You get to move, get some sun, stretch your legs. So when I say fun, I'm saying make this compatible, but also make this like fundamentally work for you. As a human, you're not supposed to sit at a desk for 6 to 8 hours a day. That's just not how it works. So to make things fun, switch it up, control your schedule, control when you listen to music, control when you eat. When you have control over your life and the little things that you do, this is fun. Nobody likes to be told what to do. Nobody likes to do what they have to do. Nobody likes to go to work. But if you are controlling your entire schedule, if you're controlling when you're doing calls, eating, going out, whatever it is, this makes things a lot more fun, and you can be just as productive if you take your laptop to Starbucks while you're out than sitting inside for 4, 6, 8 hours a day doing the exact same thing. But all in all, I hope that these staples will give you a good preface to what this is going to look like. And we're going to go over a lot more different principles. We're going to go over a lot more tactics. The very next episode, like I said, is going to be picking your niche, how to pick it, how to research, how to build a profile for that niche, and what suits you. That's going to be the next episode. So I'm not going to bore you to death with talking about prefaces and giving you an idea of what the next thing is. We're just going to go right into the next course. I just wanted to set some expectations for you to be able to understand what to expect and what to be thinking about ahead of time. But if you can think of anything that I left out or that would have helped you, or if there's anything that you've thought of with social media that we haven't talked about here today, please do comment below. I want to be able to include as much valuable information as possible to be able to help you be as successful as possible. So if there is anything that you can think of that I might have missed, please do comment below. I'd be more than happy to go over it or one-on-one talk with you about how we can help you with that specific matter. And I want to touch on content and things that nobody else touches on, and I specifically want to ask you because you know better than anybody else what you do not know. And if there's something that I can help you with, I would be more than happy to assist you in learning, acquiring, or finding somebody that can help you with your question. I do hope that this module was helpful to you, as well as I hope that I asked you some questions today that you have never asked yourself before, and I got you to think a little bit. If you've asked yourself these questions before, great, you're on a good path, and if not, you're still on a good path to becoming an extremely successful entrepreneur. Now, if you had not seen episode 1, I highly suggest that you check that out. It should pop up on the screen now, or if you're seeing this on our educational website, it'll be the previous module beforehand. I do hope that you guys enjoyed, and I hope that you are enjoying your day. As always, remember to get 1% better every single day, and I will see you in the next episode.